It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catalfamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, I am joined by new Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson. Chief Johnson, welcome onto the show. I know you're not technically new. You've been on the job for a little bit, but we're happy to have you in studio to talk about your current position.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, Chief, I think we should just start out, with your beginnings. How did you get started in your career as a fireman?
Very good. Well, it started pretty young. Actually, my wife and I were dating, and it was starting to get a little serious. So my future father-in-law, sat me down like most father-in-laws would do, and asked how are you gonna provide for my daughter? And at the time, I was thinking, well, maybe police department or maybe go into engineering. And then he basically said, well, why don't you come with me for an evening and do a ride along at the fire station, because he was a fire captain for Phoenix Fire, and he invited me to the station, and I spent the evening there and ran some calls with them, and just realized that it's an amazing career, and being able to go and help people and serve people, and after that night I was hooked. Yeah. So after that night I just figured out what I needed to do to make this my career, and started taking the classes, started going to EMT school, and get all the basics to really just take the first step in this career.
I mean, like you just talked about, you found that passion for being a fireman. I mean, did you always see yourself becoming a fire chief, or was it kind of like, let's see where this job takes me?
It's crazy that you say that. When I started as a reserve with Daisy Mountain Fire Department there in North Phoenix, and just a young kid, wide-eyed, just trying to figure this whole thing out. And as my career progressed, and as I eventually got a full-time fire job, and just started learning the job, I never at that age thought that my career would take me to be the fire chief of Verde Valley. Yeah. It's been an amazing ride, and I look back on just the story that it's put together, and the adventures and the relationships that I've built. It's just been a fun story.
So from reserve fireman to fire chief of Verde Valley Fire,
yeah.
What attracted you to the position with Verde Valley Fire?
I had known the previous chief, Joe Moore, for quite a while, and I was looking for an area to take kind of the next step of my career. And when then I saw that Joe announced that he was going to retire, first I just called him to make sure that he was okay, because we had played golf together, and I had seen him at fire chiefs conventions over the years, and he always had a big personality. So I just wanted to make sure he was okay, and then I just started asking him questions about the organization, and started doing my research on the organization, and kind of looking at the history, looking at finding out the guys, just as much as they were doing their research on me through this process, and just really thought that looking at the community and looking at the organization, I thought it'd really be a really nice fit for this next chapter of my career.
Of course, Chief Moore, we've had him on the show a few times. We had him for his last appearance on Countywide. I know he's down in Mexico enjoying his retirement right now. Lucky him. But Chief, you talk about obviously your relationship with Chief Moore. You've established a relationship before. I know that through your fire career, you've talked with multiple fire chiefs, multiple other just fire personnel in general. Since you've taken over the job here, how has your collaboration with our other surrounding fire departments been? How has just working into the community been as well?
That's one of the cool things about the fire service in general. It is a tight-knit community, and we can rely on each other and use each other as resources. And being that I'm from the state of Arizona, I have a lot of those resources and a lot of those relationships with fire chiefs around the state, which has been a great thing to draw on to kind of be mentors and be guide and help guide me through this transition in this career. Locally, it's been really good meeting with all the different chiefs from Sedona and the chiefs from Cottonwood and Copper Canyon. We meet regularly and we discuss these areas, and we really have a really concerted effort to see how we can support each other regionally and provide the best service for these citizens. Lately it's been, we've also been bringing in our resources from the state and the federal Forest Service to talk about their fires that they're fighting as well. So it's been good because we built that relationship very early on. I mean, one of the first meetings I went to in this area was meeting all those fire chiefs and meeting those representatives, so we can be prepared for what we're dealing with right now in our community and in our surrounding areas.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good thing that you guys have established those relationships, because right now, I mean, it's no secret right now that Arizona is on fire. I mean, northern Arizona right now is struggling with some fires. Southern Arizona had some issues early on. I believe one the Telegraph, I believe, is out, of the Mescalas, or maybe both of them are out by now. But growth is a huge thing, and the Verde Valley is constantly growing. I mean, you talk about the fires in the area. Obviously, we have our big forest fires that are going on right now, but there are so many fires that happen locally as well. It can get hard to have the correct resources when your city is constantly expanding and you're getting more and more citizens. So what can you speak to the growth of the Verde Valley in general? And I mean, just, what are maybe some things that you guys can do to make sure that our local resources aren't stretched too thin as we continue to grow population-wise?
Well, that's one of the things that, coming from Daisy Mountain, where I came from, when I started there, we were a small 2-station department with 20 guys, and that area north of Phoenix, through that 20 years that I spent there, it grew tremendously. And that's one of the challenges that fire chiefs and that city officials and local government have to be able to get their hands around it and get a plan for managing that growth. We've got to continue to make sure that we have the resources to meet the needs of our community. That's our ultimate goal. We're here for the community. We're here to serve the community and make sure that their needs are met. So it's just, there's a lot of things that have to do with that. One is being smart with our finances, having a plan for the growth, and being engaged with all of our community leaders, and just so we understand every area that the community is growing. We understand where the developments are going. We understand where some of our new hazards may be with vegetation and with growth, and being able to put all that in a big giant puzzle and determine the best plan of action for making sure that we can serve the community to meet their needs. What
about within the district, Chief? I mean, you step in, you've been in the job for a little bit now. Just any sort of changes that you'd like to make? We talked a little bit about a social media push, maybe helping that out a little bit. Any sort of in-district things that you'd like to change?
Exactly. I hear that social media is probably going to stick around for a while. So, I want our organization to make sure that we're engaging all the different levels of our community. We know that some of our younger, citizens, they enjoy the social media. We've got to make sure that we're being able to communicate every means necessary to connect with as many citizens as possible. So through social media, we're going to update our website, our Facebook page, and just continue to take advantage of all those media outlets to get our message out there.
It's nice to hear you guys are updating the website, because I think the 2 chiefs ago is still on the as listed as the chief. I went back to go look up information for Chief Moore for that interview, and it was the chief before him was on the website. I was like, okay.
Well, we'll get there. Be patient. We're a little busy right now, so.
I know. It's almost like you guys are fighting a bunch of wildfires in the area. Exactly. But again, Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson is our guest in studio. If you want more information about Verde Valley Fire, verdevalleyfire.org is their website. Their phone number is 928-634-2578. Again, if you just want more information about the fire district in general. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about Stage 2 fire restrictions and the wildfires that are unfortunately still going on currently in the state. Stay with us. Countywide, we'll be right back.
Terrifying jobs. Bull Rider, take 2. Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
2 things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in-ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at C&B Homes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. On today's show, we are speaking with Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson. We spoke about Chief Johnson's origins in the business of fire in the first segment, but now we are talking about an issue that is very, very important here in Arizona, which is Stage 2 fire restrictions and wildfires in general. As we mentioned before we headed to the break, there are a few wildfires that are unfortunately going on right now in the state. So, Chief, Stage 2 restrictions were put in. I don't want to say almost immediately after Stage 1 were put in, but it was shortly after. So let's just get a recap. What are Stage 2 restrictions and what should people expect?
Well, really, I mean, Stage 2 restrictions are no open burning outside. Obviously, there's issues with smoking. Don't be smart with your cigarette butts. Welding and grinding outside, it's prohibited. Operating chainsaws, anything that can create a spark or just that little ignition source that it needs. It's just the biggest thing that we really want to get across with when we go through all the legal stuff is we just want people to be smart. Use common sense. Think about your community. Think about your neighbors. Think about your own home and make sure that you're smart when you're using anything with an ignition source or any sort of flame at this point. So
no burning of any type, correct?
Yes, no burn.
So no permits are issued or anything like that?
No burn permits right now. So that's we're trying to keep everybody safe.
I mean, how important are these restrictions right now? I mean, like I mentioned, we've seen these fires sprout up, but I mean, is there, and a follow-up question to that, is there anything past Stage 2 restrictions?
Just forced closures. I mean, they can close everything down. There's been talk about that coming in the next few
Kaibab and
days.
Coconino is going to close on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, it's just everything is just so dry. I know we say that over and over again, but we get updates from the National Forest on the moisture content and all the vegetation almost weekly, and there's no moisture, and the fires are burning hotter, they're burning faster. Just erratic fire behavior. It's just everything is out there right now for some catastrophic events. So we just encourage everybody to do their part, be smart, and just take it personal and help us by not starting any fires.
Yes, please don't do that. Please do not start fires if you can help it. Like you said, there are accidents happen, of course.
Yes.
There's some things that you can't necessarily avoid, but definitely if you can avoid starting a fire, from everybody at Yavapai Broadcasting in the entire state of Arizona, please don't start fires right now. It is, or any time.
Exactly.
There's not a convenient time to start a fire. Sorry, I should clarify that. Speaking of fighting fires, resources right now I know are pretty thin throughout the state. How are we looking in terms of locally?
Well, just to kind of speak on something that's kind of near and dear to people's hearts right now, we just had the Cornville fire, last week, and the resources that show up, it's a pretty amazing thing to be a part of. We had all of our resources from the area deployed on that fire, and we're protecting the citizens. But we also realize that there's still emergencies that take place while we're fighting that fire. People get sick, people have issues that we still need to be able to respond. But one of the things that's really cool about Yavapai County is we have our Yavapai County mutual aid agreements where we can have resources from Prescott, from Central Arizona Fire Medical, Prescott Valley, and Sedona, and all these areas. They can come here now and they can run the EMS calls where we're fighting the initial fire. And it's something that's been put together, and we work together at Yavapai County Chiefs, but the state also has a statewide mutual aid. So if incidents get really large, really big, there's areas around the state that we can move resources resources to support an area to make sure that the citizens are still served and that the emergency is still being handled. And it's a good system, and we meet with that regularly as well to make sure that that system is always functional and operational and continue to try to improve it.
I mean, it really is just a giant collaborative effort to make sure that if there is a wildfire that sprouts out, or really any sort of disaster or major catastrophe, that we have resources in place, like you just said, where you guys are able to move resources, or you can call in other resources from different fire stations. When I first started working here, I didn't really know the functionality of a fire department because I didn't work in the news, but I always thought that when there was a wildfire, it was just like all of the resources for Verde Valley Fire are on scene fighting that fire, and somebody else is handling the calls. But it's very much like there's a dedicated team that goes out there, or you get a group of guys out there, and then you're calling in other resources, like you just said with the corn.
We have guys that are trained in specifically wildfires, that they go out on all these fires. We've had guys on the Mescal fire, Telegraph fire. Yeah. We've got guys on the Backbone fire right now that they do all different functions on these fires and really are part of that state system.
And then you guys, I mean, like you mentioned, if you guys are assisting, you're essentially just coming in with an extra truck or some extra personnel, or just to help assist, right? When you guys come to respond to it,
they'll let us know what they need. Do they need a medical unit? Do they need a fire truck? Do they need some sort of UTV? We're able to bring all those different types of apparatus to the scene to make sure that we're meeting the needs of what the incident command team needs.
And again, I mean, just this fire season this year, terrible so far. I mean, last year was rough. Bad, and this year is, in a lot of ways, a lot worse.
Yeah, it's off to a rough start. I think I read something last night that we have 22 or 23 active fires right now in the state of Arizona.
So again, Chief, before we head to break, do you want to hit those stage 2 restrictions again? What's allowed and what's not?
Yeah, just ignitions, any types of ignition outside, campfires, all those are illegal. No smoking outside, keep it inside of a closed vehicle or inside your house. Welding, operating any sort of torches, not allowed. Operating chainsaws or other internal combustion equipment, not allowed at this point. Discharging firearms is not allowed at this point. Basically, anything that's hot and that creates a spark is not allowed. So just enjoy other areas of the state and the other areas of the community, and just try to keep those things out of our washes and out of our brush, and just try to enjoy the rest of the summer fire free.
Or just stay home. That also helps too. No. And please enjoy enjoy your lives however you feel. Yeah. Just don't start fires. It's very, very scary right now. Again, information for the fire departments, verdevalleyfire.org is the website. The phone number is 928-634-2578. We are speaking with Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson. Chief, before we head to break, anything else you want to get out to the public that is pertinent regarding fire restrictions, or just any safety messages in general right now?
Like you said, like we talked about earlier, just be responsible, be smart, think about your neighbors, think about your community, and let's get through the rest of this summer fire free.
Again, verdevalleyfire.org, 928-634-2578. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue our conversation with Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson on the other side. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the Valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
welcome you back here to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. On today's show, we are talking Verde Valley Fire with Fire Chief Danny Johnson. In the first segment, we talked about Chief Johnson's origins and how he got the job here at Verde Valley Fire. We then spoke about Stage 2 restrictions. Do want to clarify here in the third segment stuff you can do during Stage 2 restrictions. Want to let you know that you don't have to just cease operations in general. There are some things you can do in Stage 2 restrictions. Chief, please let us know what those are.
We get a lot of questions about barbecue grills and can we use our barbecue grill or not. But yeah, any type of propane gas grills, those are good to use. We still want people to be able to cook their dinners and enjoy, dinner with their family on the barbecue because it is still cooling down in the evenings and it can be nice. So you're more than welcome to use your propane stoves in the evening and just make sure you can cook your dinner with your family outside there.
It's just really open flames are the big thing that we're trying to reduce.
Yes.
So campfires,
sparks,
barbecues.
Anything that puts off sparks, anything that can broadcast any sort of ignition source. But any of those petroleum and all of the gas that you can have an immediate shut off that doesn't really send any flames flying across the air, so that you can use those.
Chief, just anything else you want to get out to the public before we let you go? You mentioned there was possibly a great way for people to be involved with the department.
We've been getting so many requests about how people can help, and the community up here has been awesome, and their support has been amazing, and they want to know how they can do their part to help. We've had a lot of people bring by water by the fire stations, and that's been amazing. One of the other things that I wanted to get out there is there is a Sedona Verde Valley Firefighters charities that actually they work through this type of stuff, and they have monies available to help people that may be impacted with if their houses do catch on fire, or if there's people that have been put out in the community. They do things to give back to the community. So you can look up on their website, and you can make donations to them as well, and they do a good job for just giving back to the community. So
if you do, again, if you want to be involved with the district, verdevalleyfire.org is their website. 928-634-2578 is the phone number. And Chief, you want to mention that charity one more time?
Yeah, it's Sedona Verde Valley Firefighters Charity.org. I believe that's the website.
And then other than that, Chief, I mean, like we said, Stage 2 restrictions are in place. We've got just a minute or two here. Again, anything else you want to get out? Anything coming up within the district? Any plans for anything coming up?
Well, I know that there's some 4th of July events that are coming up. I think there's going to be a kids parade in Clarkdale that we're going to be part of. And, we, once again, with 4th of July, we just ask you just be smart. And we look forward to seeing everybody in the community at future events. And I just want to thank the community. They're welcoming me to this community has been amazing. And it's been a lot of fun to get to know them and begin serving them.
Well, we're happy to have you in the area, Chief, and I'd like to thank you for coming on the show and talking to us about your start in fire and, of course, the restrictions. And hopefully we're supposed to be getting a monsoon potentially. So, I mean, hopefully it'll be able to bring some moisture to the area and make things a little easier for you guys.
That would help us all.
That would help a lot, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Again, verdevalleyfire.org is the website. 928-634-2578 is the phone number. That is going to do it for this episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo, wishing you a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.